The shift from petrol and diesel to electric vehicles has created a hole in motoring tax revenues. Fuel duty currently raises billions each year, but EV drivers do not pay it. Now the government says a pay per mile model may be the answer.
As we move towards a greener economy, and we've heard a lot about that in terms of global warming, we're going to have to drive electric cars. Why is that? Well, mainly because, of course, we're going to have to get rid of the internal combustion engines which burn petrol and diesel, which are made from fossil fuels. Now, the corollary of that is that as we buy less and less diesel and petrol, the government gets less money off the fuel duty as a consequence. Just to say, at the moment, that's roughly about £24.5 billion a year. And also, to give you another statistic of the recent sales statistics for cars in this country, a quarter were electric. So we are buying electric cars in increasing numbers. The vehicle registration, also the tax that we pay, that will continue. So that's, if you like, banked. I don't see the government getting rid of that. But they've got to find some way, if you like, of replacing eventually. So paying per mile is a very good way of doing so, in the sense, of course, electric cars, by the nature of what they are, they're movable computers or moving computers, therefore they can be tracked. So it'll be perfectly possible to do all of this, although I think some investment will have to go into the infrastructure.
According to industry reports, electric vehicle drivers may be charged around 3 pence per mile under new plans being finalised by the Treasury. The proposed change comes as the Office for Budget Responsibility and other forecasts suggest a multi-billion-pound revenue shortfall if the current system remains unchanged.
What it will mean, from a very logical consequence, is that every time we use a car, we'll think more carefully about how much it's going to cost us, depending upon the cost thereof. So I suspect there'll be a graduated scheme whereby driving around local roads will be relatively cheap, but as soon as you go onto the motorways, it'll be far more expensive. Then, of course, it would perhaps make that the incentive to use public transport all the greater. Whereas at the moment, of course, if you drive long distances, it's often far cheaper to go in the car than it is on public transport. So we're into a revolution which is part of, if you like, the greener economy, but also allied to the fact that technology monitors everything we do, including driving your car.